Arthur, my son, who's going to be 2 in March, and I take Metro feeds. It's like these. These are Bach feeds, and Phil Ross, maker of Metro feeds, is really clear about distinguishing between the two. He says, don't call it a Bach feeds, call it a Metro feed. So it's a Metro feeds. It's like this. It's got a box on the front, a little bit longer box. This is made out of aluminum. Metro feeds is made out of steel. Who loves riding steel bikes? Smooth riding. Knew Phil back when he was a barista for Jim and Patty, before Jim and Patty sold coffee people. He's a great guy. And we love the smooth ride. And public service announcement, I heard, and it's important to know, that you shouldn't put a baby in a bike before they're 1 year old. I've heard that the pupils are still forming, and they can get astigmatism if you have them shaking around in a bicycle too early. So go forth with that. We go on a 15-mile bicycle ride many mornings. And the route that I'm going to describe to you is good. It's the one that we really like. But since I've had an opportunity to share this route with people that actually know a lot about transportation and transportation routes, they've encouraged me to take different routes. But just like we did this morning, the bicycle ride starts in the dark. We get started, and I wake this poor child up at 5:45 in the morning. I have all of the things ready the night before, so we minimize the amount of time that we are in transition from bed to bicycle. And I have this Metro feet, all set up with about the beefiest car seat that I could find. It's reversible, it's great, it's got covers, it's wonderful. And the big fingers crossed opportunity was the first couple of times we took the trip. Is he even going to like this thing? Is he going to continue to cry after we wake him up? Thankfully, the answer was no. He actually really enjoys it. The first 2 times we took this ride, he slept the whole way. Body in motion will stay in motion. A baby asleep will remain asleep. But then something really fascinating happened. The 3rd time we went on this bicycle ride, he stayed awake the whole time. And he was doing this thing that they tell you about in early childhood development where he was quiet and aware. He was paying attention to everything that was going on around him. And that's when I realized how important it was for him to have those opportunities. Because at first I said to myself, look, riding bikes is dangerous. You're carrying your most beloved person in the world around at the bumper height of cars and trucks. The very real safety issues and the facts that you have to navigate when you're out there on the road from a traffic safety standpoint have caused me to have pre-traumatic seriousness disorder, right? I'm deadly serious about the work. I did a thing with folks from Metro Feeds, and they took out all the serious parts and just shared how great it was for me to be out there with the bike. But it's something I took serious. Got one of those head helmet mounted mirrors and everything, right? So I could see eyes behind my head, right? I can see what's going on. So when we leave, it's dark, and it's quiet, and he's quiet, and he's paying attention to everything that's going on. We leave Woodlawn, we go up. The route is chosen really to avoid hills because between he and I in the baby seat and my bag of stuff and his bag of stuff, it's 350 pounds at least. You know, it made me realize the heaviest thing on the bike is always you. But ultimately, we get up to Alameda Ridge, across Alberta, get up to Alameda Ridge. Love riding on Alameda Ridge. Spent a lot of time up there when I was a kid. And he sees fascinating things. By the time we're up there, it's about 6 o'clock in the morning. There's this wonderful community of people that walk around Alameda Ridge that early in the morning. Before sunrise, you can see them. They're walking with their flashlights like they're watch people, you know. But again, I'm wondering, what does he think about all this, right? Again, quiet and aware unless he sees a bus. And then you think about, okay, a bus or a truck. That's like the biggest thing that you can see move. It's like a whole apartment moving. No wonder he gets so excited. You don't see anything else like that. And then he sees these amazing people that are just kind of walking with these flashlights. What must that be like for a baby? So we stay on the ridge. Alameda Ridge, beautiful. It's just wonderful up there. Low car traffic. That's one of the ways we measure safety. I wonder how you all measure safety. There's a lot of ways to do it. How often are you on a place with bicycle facilities? What's the quality of the bicycle facility? One of the other ways that I like to measure, because complete safety is a specious notion, one of the ways I like to measure safety is how many direct car interactions, same bit of road, how many direct car interactions do we have? So this morning, 17 against, 8 for, yeah? And so we are able to go out on this ride while many of the cars are still asleep. And sometimes when we're riding by, they wake up, right? Cars waking up there in their little garage. They're getting ready to pull out, but they wait for us because I've been converted. I used to not even wear like a rain jacket. Now I'm a card-carrying member of the atrociously green jacket club. So we hug the ridge all the way past Rose City Golf Course, past Madison High School on Skidmore, and we're going straight for the base of Rocky Butte. Cool thing about on 91st Avenue, as we take our turn to the south, there's a big dip, because now you're giving up that elevation. And again, this bike is heavy. We don't want to give up elevation if we can avoid it. So that's why I take it all the way there, because I don't want to go down, because then I'm going to have to get back up. And there, you're going down fast enough with enough momentum, you can carry it up the other side without looking terrible. You know, it's important to look good on the bike. I'm sorry. You got to maintain your form. So we can get up there without even getting in the lowest gear. And then we jog over to Halsey. I was really excited today. It's like, wow, because, the sun it's rising at about 7:11, 7:27 this time of year. And so I, have held back from riding because I want to be as safe as possible. And by the time we get there today, I saw they had redone the curb, and I was like, oh gosh, maybe they've redone the whole bike path. No. We're still on our trip to Grandma's house. We're going over a river of cars and through and around everything that we can. And who's had an opportunity to ride up Halsey over there, over to Gateway Transit Center? Yeah, you're out there. You know what's up. That is a steep grade, isn't it? And it does this big, amazing curve up to the right? And in the morning, with the rain cover on that's acting like a sail, impeding our progress, and me struggling to not cramp in my diaphragm because I'm breathing so hard, I'm using all every single ounce of strength that I have, you can't help but feel that you are moving in opposition to all of the vehicles that are coursing past you at 45 miles an hour, nothing but a curb separating you from them. It's an amazing experience if you're there at the right time of year, at the right time of day, to come up to the top of that hill having achieved significant success on about the heaviest bike that you could find, with the sun rising in the background doing something that is ritualistic and spiritual and amazing and connected, and your gut's about to bust because you're so exhausted. And then you take a deep breath or two, and you realize that your little perfect situation is shattered because there's a whole spaghetti factory of interstate below you. You realize that you're in the combustion car shed of one of the worst kind of interstate systems there is. You realize that the place that you'd love to get down to and ride bikes along over at Gateway Green hasn't even been built yet. You realize that you're one of the few people that are even riding their bike that early in the morning. The vast majority of people are onrushing in traffic other places. And it can feel overwhelming. And it can feel a little demoralizing. And frankly, it can feel kind of icky to breathe in that car exhaust. The other thing is if you got your baby right here in the bike, the car exhaust is like right there. We were waiting at the intersection over there on the top of the hill by Bike Gallery. And this Honda, fresh started, so it's running like crap and it's old, and they may just think it's the best thing in the world. It's poisoning my son, right? All these people are running around on, corn, which is ridiculous, and the sludge from the Permian extinction. So We get up over the top, we ride past Izzy's. Remarkable amount of traffic goes through the parking lot. They really got some work to do over there. And our trials aren't over, because there's another reality when it comes to safety, aside from avoiding cars. And that's the fact that we continue to be confronted with the grinding nature of poverty and houselessness in our region. There isn't really anything great and potentially nothing individually we can do day of to tend to the suffering that everyday people who have to camp in town, who could wake up on the wrong side of not having a bed. And there's a very important lesson I'll end up having to teach Arthur, and that is that when you're around people that are really struggling, much less if those people are white, you cannot look too good, you cannot do too well, you cannot unintentionally slight them by not acknowledging their presence. And that might be an uncomfortable fact for me to share with you, but Ta-Nehisi Coates tells us to not have that conversation, to not have that level of awareness can cause you to forfeit your life. When we're talking about the 68,500 kids that go to Portland Public Schools, K through 12, with high school graduation rates that are 72, 74%, with 47 out of 50 ranking in the United States of America, we have a lot of work to do. And beyond poverty, anti-displacement, and ensuring that the #1 health crisis that we have in the United States, being traffic fatalities, does not crush our society, it can feel overwhelming. I know you all have many answers, and I know that many of you are working every single day, either directly or indirectly, to help solve those problems. But we've decided to do 3 things. 1, we are living our values every single day without fear of bigotry, without fear of racism, without fear of things that we have no control over. 2, we find opportunities to throw our lot in with people that are doing the same thing. And 3, we hold fast to a belief that every single child deserves the joy, freedom, and health benefits that come from access to a bicycle. And that's why we're here to help support the BTA and to be with you all here this evening. Thank you.